Did it ever occur to you, like, in your mindset, were you ever like, man, I don't want to shave my hair?
No, I'm not that precious with my hair. If I go bald, I'll probably just shave it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Get Ripped, Get Tipped. We're here with our special guest, Osric Chau. He is an actor, producer, rock climber, restaurant owner. We're gonna get straight with the warm-up. So if we're in the middle of push-ups, right, and I'm asking you a question, and you get so tired and you drop down, well, I'm gonna tell you one thing. You cannot continue talking if you're down.
First tip, pace yourself.
You have to. I had to do a little creep town on you just to figure out every little detail about you. But we understand that you were a stunt actor, coming in first. So what was the pinnacle moment in your career where you were like, I'm gonna get away from stunts and I'm gonna do acting? I mean, you still do your own stunts.
We'll say that I don't do all my own stunts. You can't.
Ooh.
You have wonderful stunt performers who train their whole lives to do these stunts for the actors. It's a liability thing. They're way better at it. So you let them do their job and you credit them wherever you can.
What was the first show that you did that you did?
It was called Kung Fu Killer. There's a 2-part miniseries for Spike TV. I don't know if they're still going on. Also, how many reps are we doing?
We keep going till the question's over.
Okay. Alright, well, we should talk faster.
You know what? A lot of the guests before have realized that less words is more probable. Like, would you consider this like, was it your first big break, or was that the word? Is that the correct word to use?
Yeah, I would say that was my big first breakout role. Took me like 10 years to get. Thankfully, I started when I was really young because of my mom, and for at least like 8-9 years, I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't tell you what acting was. I remember not going to auditions because I wanted to go to Playland. So I got through a lot of terrible years, like for free, so to speak, because I was in it, but not really. And so I just got to go on autopilot.
Did you find yourself like stepping on set, you know, obviously doing it for 10 years, did you find yourself to be like nervous or anything, like intimidated by everybody else?
I was super green. I didn't know what I was doing. I was too young and confident to think that I could do wrong, and of course I made plenty of mistakes, but I learned from that and I moved on.
Oh yeah! You were on 2012 Roland Emmerich's movie where you played a monk. Now, did you shave your head for that?
I did. Well, technically I didn't. I got 7 consecutive haircuts that went like, okay, let's go a centimeter shorter, let's go a centimeter shorter. So it was like 2 hours of hair cutting. I was just thinking of crabs when I
know.
See you.
And you know what? My legs are starting to burn because we didn't stretch your legs enough. We should have stretched it. This is really bad on my part. I apologize.
We didn't do any stretching, I should say.
I'm 33. I struggle with a little bit of hair loss for myself right now. For yourself, you're back in like your 20s. Did it ever occur to you, like, in your mindset, were you ever like, man, I don't want to shave my hair?
No, I'm not that precious with my hair. If I go bald, I'll probably just shave it and not struggle with the idea of trying to keep it.
So I guess
I've shaved my head like 4 times since, so.
Oh, geez. So
yeah, it's not a big deal for me.
No problem for you.
No.
So, is there anything that's a borderline no for you?
It always comes down to the story. So if it's a good story, it's a captivating character that goes along with that story. It's something I want to tell, and I can see it in the realm of possibility for me. Like losing 50 pounds, sure. But do I have a year to do it? Do I have to do it next week? There's, some things that are more possible than others, so you have to be realistic with yourself, as not just a performer, but as a human being. Like if I'm willing to go like extreme lengths to do something, is it physically possible without like amputating a leg? And if you do so, that probably doesn't get the effect that you're looking for.
Are there any mental exercises? I know we're doing physical exercise. If you're on set for like 12, 14 hours.
I think every project's different. Like, for an actor, most of the time you're waiting around, right? Like on set, you're not always filming. On your short, it was a little bit different, being like the main character. It's just important for me to always appreciate my time on set and just remember, like, most of my job is getting the job. So once I have it, it's actually really easy. I already know I can do it. I just gotta try to appreciate the time that I have and make the most of it and hopefully make everyone else's job a little bit easier than it might have been.
What is your daily routine? What do you do in the morning to keep this engine going?
I check my email usually, and for me it's developing stories, right? I have a bunch of short films that I have going. I have a couple of features that I have going. I have a couple of television shows that I have going. I'm opening 2 restaurants right now. Like, there's a...
2 restaurants? You were just doing one like
I haven't told you about the
4 months ago.
But basically, there's like the idea that you sow as many seeds as you can. Plant 10 seeds. You hope for one thing to grow, and if 2 or more grow, then you just do what you can. So there's always like the thought of, okay, what's like the next thing that I need to focus on? Immediate task at hand, do that, and then you move on to the next.
Did you focus on one that has more momentum of the others, or if one hits a wall, do you, like, what's your process of watching these grow and knowing how much energy to put into?
It's the immediate task at hand, right? So like a show like Supernatural, which I was on, it was on and off for 6 years.
Yeah.
Right? So over the course of 6 years, I'm not only working on one show. I do the thing, and then when my episode's done, I focus on the next thing, right? Whatever that may be. And so same with producing. Like, I will do things on my end. I'll read a script, I'll give notes back, I'll do a pass on something, or I'll pass it around, and then when that's done, you move on to the... So usually for planks, you'll do like a minute. You know, like that's a good set. Maybe 2 minutes if you're going for it. So it's very ambitious to do an entire like questionnaire segment in one position. I'm actually really impressed with Milton for even trying.
I'm not going to talk yet until I'm back in the blank. That's my rule. Now, right now, in life in general, there's just tons of noise out there. Everyone's distracted by doing social media, this movie. So what would your advice be for someone that's maybe just starting out? Is it a good idea to throw seeds at a bunch of plants, or is it more strategically better to watch one seed grow, let that grow first, and then be a support for the rest of them?
I mean, you always want to have like a main thing, but I think it's, you want to avoid spreading yourself too thin. You want to develop as an artist. Obviously, if it's something that you know how to do, like let's say you've been acting for 10 years, you can act, and there's a bunch of acting projects, you don't necessarily have to put a lot of time and effort into that. But let's say you're an actor for 10 years and you're like, well, I want to audition for better parts, I want better stories to be part of. Then you have to, you want to start engaging and learning how to tell stories, writing scripts that you could play in, and that's the development that you could do while you're doing other things. Like I think it's easy to burn out on one project, so
burn out.
You should try to have 2 or 3 going. Okay, let's take a break.
Talk faster, man. Oh my god. Oh shit. Thanks, guys. Okay, we're done yapping. We're gonna continue the conversation because we haven't finished the conversation. Let's get going, man. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Oz must have like a 6-pack because I cannot keep it together. Like you said before, most people do like 2 minutes, 1 minute.
1 minute.
We're doing non-stop. And so for yourself, just doing 8 projects. The restaurant.
Well, it's similar to making a movie, right? And in the sense that you have to build a team. Everyone, like for a movie, you have to make sure that everyone's making the same movie. If your camera people are trying to make a horror film, but you're trying to tell a romance, and you know your producers want to do an action movie, like you're gonna have a very weird movie. So same with a restaurant. You want to make sure everyone's making the same restaurant, and so it's building a team, making sure everyone's on that same concept, and then you just kind of build around that.
So yeah, that's a very good analogy of the. Oh my god! Holy fuck, man! You know what? Let's do the rest. Let's continue this restaurant topic in another workout. Okay. Because I'm just being a little bitch right now. You have 2 restaurants going on. You got 2 restaurants going on.
Yep.
So tell us about that. Are they in Vancouver? Oh, this isn't so bad.
Actually, yeah,
It's actually not bad at all.
yeah, I got one in Vancouver, one in Richmond. The Vancouver one's called Saola. It's named after the Asian unicorn, which is an endangered species of deer
Oh, wow.
in Vietnam.
What inspired you to name it after that?
This is my partner and chef. He always wanted to name a restaurant after this mythical creature. Oh man,
That's very,
starting to feel it.
yeah, not easy.
I think for most filmmakers, we tend to
Good job. Higher.
we tend to ignore the business side of things. So to do an actual business that has a strong art component, it helps. Doing the restaurant helps me be a better filmmaker in terms of knowing the business end of things. Being a filmmaker helps me do the restaurant in terms of putting the creative together. And my chef, restaurant partner, just happens to be my writing partner as well. So
I imagine you took your restaurant into your writer's room.
yeah, we do a lot of stuff in both industries.
I'm sorry I like this work, though.
Yeah, this is
I like this work, though.
a lot of standing and plenty of space to slack off while still feeling like you're working out.
Now understand, you just came back from Vegas. You just did a movie.
So I produced my second feature film. It's a horror, indie horror feature that will be released on Shudder this year. It's a social media thing. Actually, it's something that you might know a little bit about, but it's about 2 social media people who go out and review Airbnbs, and they just come across a host that is just a little off, and horror ensues, and that's all I can say.
Are you the host?
I'm not the host. I'm one of the YouTuber Airbnb guests.
Keep it together. What was the most hardest, biggest challenge that you did on that film out there?
COVID. We had to deal with a lot of COVID things. It was my first COVID shoot. We had to cut down the number of crew members that we had due to the pandemic. Just getting tests for the actors. It was 3 times a week. For crew, once a week. But just for a 20-day shoot, not even an 18-day shoot, it was like 10-15K for tests alone, right?
Oh, wow.
So all of a sudden, like, everything, and that's just like,
You say 15K?
K, like 1,000.
A day?
No, in total.
Oh.
But it's still like sizable. For an independent feature, that's a big chunk.
Do you find it challenging for yourself as an actor and a producer wearing 2 hats?
So that was my second one, but it was more on the acting on this one, thankfully. And the third one that I'm about to embark on, I think the producing has to come in the prep. And then on the day, then the acting has to take over. So for me to be an effective producer and actor, I really have to compartmentalize and have someone there on set. If I'm not in the immediate scene, as an actor, I should just focus on the scene. Like my first movie, there were times where I'm like, what scene were we doing now? Like what are my lines? Like I just didn't know. And so it was like, thankfully, like, thankfully, Oz, you've been doing this for like 20 plus years, so you can just figure it out. But it's not a position I would want any of my actors to be, let alone myself. So I think you just gotta compartmentalize the different tasks at hand.
Now, when you're talking about you coming on set and like not knowing the lines, are you talking about Empty by Design? That was your first movie that you produced and acted in.
That was the first, and thankfully the character is so close to me just playing me that it wasn't a big stretch.
You know, I really thought that coming back here would feel a lot more like coming home. Most of the time I just feel so foreign, you know?
Why just outrun Braid? Just embrace it, man.
Is there ever a right time on when an actor should start producing? Because I know, a lot of us filmmakers have that urge to do double hats. And when we talk to a mentor or senior, they might tell us that you should focus on one. Like, could you shed any advice on when is a good time for an actor to be in their level that they can handle 2 big giant roles?
I don't think it's ever too early. Film is a collaborative process, and being a producer, being a writer, being a director, being whatever, honestly, operating camera will help you understand that collaborative process. If I'm an actor and I just focus on my actor thing and I go and do crazy, amazing, beautiful actor things, but Chris or Libby can't follow it on camera because I'm unable to communicate with them, or to the director to communicate with them, we don't capture any of that on camera, right? Or I do something, I tell Ronald, then all of a sudden sound spikes, we can't use that, we have to ADR it in, then the magic is lost, right? So you have to learn how to collaborate with the team, and I think learning how to produce is super important because you want to create your own story, your own vehicle for you to act in. I think the main thing is don't write the things that you can do.
Get that feet up in the air, bro.
You want to do the things that you can do immediately, and don't break the bank. Do things on your phone. Just practice, and then when you get your skill set to the level that you feel is high enough, that's when you can really invest in yourself. You're like, okay, I know how to produce, I have a team, I know how to act. Let me actually invest in a big project now. We're gonna do calf raises. Nice and simple. You can see how dirty my shoes are. I was meaning to throw them away 3 months ago, and I haven't yet, so that's how dirty it is.
Maybe after today he's gonna throw the shoes out.
I've literally shoveled shit in these shoes.
Why would you shovel shit?
Because I am a restaurant owner now, and we have a back alleyway, and sometimes it accumulates.
Oh, okay.
The joys of owning a business, guys.
Well, I would think that one of the first things in a restaurant you would go get a restroom.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I was not the producer of this shit, but I appreciate that you thought I was.
Well, you're getting somebody's shit. It's somebody's shit.
It's very true. I love that.
You were directing a short film.
So this is one of those projects that I tried to do 7, 8 years ago now with a previous roommate in LA, and I always liked the idea. We never finished it. Crazy things happened. Maybe it was a little bit too much for us to handle. Maybe our standards were too high, and this is part of me having experience in the industry but knowing nothing about how to do it myself. And so there, I knew what a good product was, but I didn't know how to get there, right? And same with my roommate. It was just we didn't know how to do it, and so we never really finished. It was it's there, but it's not complete. It's not good enough. And so I think there's a part of me that's let's just get it out there, move on. But I finally watched it, I'm oh yeah, it's very incomplete. So I just went back, rewrote the entire thing. I love the core concept. Looking back, I'm wow, there's so much room for growth. So I rewrote it several times over, and I have a cool script that I really like, and I started building the team, and I originally had it as a vehicle for me to act.
Ooh.
But now I'm you know what, I want to try directing. I want to, learn this side of the camera that I haven't, I've done producing, I've written before, but I've never directed. And so now that I'm planning out my shot list and stuff, it just puts you in a different headspace, and honestly I'm surprising myself in how much I know about directing, because I didn't think I knew anything.
And now you're learning whole different levels of
Yeah, and I'm sure
filmmaking.
Once I get on set, I'm gonna be totally overwhelmed. So in anticipation of that, I'm just trying to do so much homework, and I'm doing my own first AD prep right now. I'm gonna have an actual first AD come in and overlook it, but I think it's good for me to just know okay, if I have a 2-day shoot, that means I have these locations this day, these locations that day. I have 6 setups per scene, which means if I have 2 hours to shoot the scene, 20 minutes each. It's really going to, can I get my actors there by the 2nd or 3rd take? Then if I need to do that, how much rehearsal time do I need for my camera crew? How much time do you need to set up at these locations? This is the equipment we have. It's just going so detailed in things that I normally just take for granted.
And when is this short called?
It's called Good News, and I'll tell you guys after.
You can't tell much. Yeah, you've already said so much.
It's a short film. Like if I just tell you, I'm like, oh, there's it. You know.
You better just watch it.
Better
Okay.
just watch it.
Once it's complete, then it's out.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
about a young couple going through and dealing with an unexpected pregnancy.
There you go. Good news coming out very soon from Osric Chau. What would you like to promote? The stage is yours.
If you're in Vancouver, obviously my 2 restaurant endeavors are happening. Our one restaurant's called Seola. It's on Main and 8th, and the other one's coming to Richmond. It's near Richmond Center. But that one's going to be more of a fast food fried chicken with healthy sides, and it's going to be like normal chicken, but then a vegan line as well. So we're going to have half plant-based, half fried chicken.
There you go, everybody. Osric Chau, everyone. You guys have been watching a Novus segment. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time on Get Wit, Get It.